Working with forms in Word. A form is a structured document that has spaces for entering data. Forms can be built using content controls. You could still use some of the fields that came with previous versions of Word if you want as well through what they call legacy form fields. We first need to show our Developer tab. On our ribbon we don't have the Developer tab, and the Developer tab has to be in view so we can use the controls from the Developer tab. When we go to File, Options, we need to customize the ribbon. And on the right portion of the screen here we can see Main tabs, and underneath Main tabs we need to check off Developer. When we click OK, the Developer tab is in view. Let's bring it forward and note that we've got a controls group here for us. This controls group offers up 9 main controls. And the last one here is your legacy fields, like legacy fields under legacy tools, that houses these first three here that a lot of people used in previous versions. We could still use them, like I say, in here. What we're going to do now is create a template. I've opened up the document file. Now I'm just going to quickly save it as a template before we go any further. So Word template, and the name of the file is going to be called Online Expense Report. I'll update this, and now you can see we've got some areas in which to fill in some information. I'm first going to insert the date picker here beside the date field. Back to the Developer tab. We're going to work with the date picker content control. In the properties, I'm going to call this title date and the tag as well as date. Using the format, the third choice here, now we're going to go on to our name and pick rich text control. Assign some properties and buttons. So let's type in, name and name. I'm going to follow through with doing the same for these two here. So to speed things up, I've typed in some information here for us. The last one is travel destination, and you could see it does read it as its title and tag. I'm going to jump over now to personal car, and this time I'm going to choose the checkbox. When I choose checkbox, you'll see a little checkbox comes up, but I happen to prefer the checkbox that comes up with previous versions of Word. So I'm going to undo and dig into Legacy Tools and choose checkbox here. We'll do the same for the next two as well. You can see now I've put in checkboxes for each one of these last two. Reasons for trip is going to be a drop down. When I click on drop down, it asks me to choose an item. We're not ready to do that. We need to still set up properties. We'll call this trip reason. And now we're going to add the display items. First display item, let's say I'll type in business conference. I've added a couple more, and now I'm going to click OK. Trip reason comes up here as the title. And when I click on the down arrow, you can see how I've got those items here. I'm not ready to pick any of those yet. Suppose I made a mistake, and for travel destination, I truly didn't want it to be a text box. I want it to be a drop down as well. So I can certainly press delete a couple of times and then go into my drop down and make it so that I've got properties set up. I'll type in travel destination yet again, and when I'm adding my travel destinations, I'm going to add in North Division and follow through with the next three of being South Division. I've added all 4 divisions here. When I click OK, you'll see travel destination comes up, and then When I click on the down arrow, I'm just double checking to see that I've typed in all of my travel destinations properly. Suppose I'm done adding in my controls. It's time to save the template. You're absolutely right. So I'll do that. I'll do a quick Control S. But I need to protect this file so that people can't come in here and start getting rid of any of my titles and any of my fields. So how do I protect any of my forms, any of my templates? I go to Restrict Editing in the Protect group on the Developer tab. And when I click on Restrict Editing, a task pane or a pane comes up in my window. Restrict Formatting and Editing. I could limit the formatting if I want, so I can restrict formatting, but I'm going to jump down to number 2 and limit editing restrictions. Allow only this type of editing in the document, no changes, or I can choose something like filling in forms if I like. Yes, start enforcing protection. Put in a password here. So I've typed in a password, and unenforce would be the same as stopping protection. So let's just try that right now. When I click on Stop Protection, I must know the password in order to do so. So let's, yes, start enforcing. It does say optional, but again, let's always put in a password. This document is protected from unintentional editing. So again, the only users who could stop protection are ones that have the password. I can click in here and enter a date if I want, but remember I'm in the template. So why don't we close this file, Control, let's save, and then use that template by going to File, New, New from Existing, and we've got our online expense report here, Create New. We can enter in a date, enter in some text, enter in dates of travel, let's say June 1st coming up to June 3rd. Travel destination, suppose I'm going to North Division. I'm going to travel by personal car, and reasons for trip is going to be the business conference.